from here. Where it goes, it is Sunday at 10 o'clock. Hey, we're on time today. Welcome to a fabulous edition of Soup and Meatballs. And while we're on the loading screen here, you don't get a chance to really fully appreciate this. Wow. We'll get into why that is what it is here in a little bit. But how was your week, Tim?
Busy week. Got to see Third Eye Blind in concert at the fair on Thursday. So you had texted about who did I like in the Thursday night game, and I didn't see it until like 11 o'clock or 10:45 after the show. But I would have picked Seattle.
You did, so that's fine. That's fair.
Yeah, I hadn't seen a score because the phone was away during the show. But
did they make you put it away, or is that just a voluntary reflex on your part?
I was going to leave it at home, to be honest, just because like when I go to something like that, I like to just experience it. But my tickets were on the phone, like my Ticketmaster app, so I had to bring it.
I remember a long time ago. I mean, we're talking has to be like 18 years or so. Like Facebook did this weird stuff, like learn some weird random facts about your Facebook friends, and one of yours was you didn't own a cell phone. Like when did you get a cell phone for the first time? I
didn't get a cell phone till maybe like I had one in the car for like if the car broke down and I was driving with the boys. But I didn't really use it. And then like in 2012, I got it and I used it for like work. I would like tweet from games and things like that. And now just the way that society is, I like, there are certain work things where I can only do them on my phone, like accessing like my work VPN and things like that. Like
that's slightly important stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's cool. I saw a TikTok video yesterday, I want to say, so I will, and nobody's going to know otherwise. You could buy a share of the Bloomsburg Fair. Is that a thing?
Yeah, they have shareholders. Yeah.
How much is a share of the fair?
I don't know what it is currently, but like I have friends who are shareholders, and they have shareholder meetings. It's like a community thing, like community.
Why are we not doing a live show from the fair then? Get your friends on.
Yesterday was the last day.
Well, I mean. Get your friends to well, it does take a while to get us set up, our equipment, our producer, all the stuff. So for next year, we should do this.
We could absolutely from like one of the like the edge. We could like do a podcast sitting next to the biggest piece of squash in Columbia County in the horticultural building.
I'm like, let's look into that. Why not? Because we could take the show on the road, and if Game Day can do it, when so can we.
I would love to do an on-location podcast.
So there we go.
Let's go to Dublin and podcast from the Steelers-Vikings game.
I don't think I have the Steelers-Vikings. I think they're like blacked out for me.
Oh,
I am. You said it's on NFL Network, right? Let me.
Yeah, it's Greg Olson with the call on NFL Network.
I do
Vikings
have that
the ball.
On.
Steelers are up 7-3.
Yeah, I wonder if I just. If we don't pay enough for, that's a 72-hour odor control commercial. Yeah, I just turned it off. So Tim, you're on score updates.
Yeah.
As far as that goes.
I'm like Pam Oliver. I'll give updates as warranted.
There you go. Well, we're going to start the show in a little different order. We're going to talk about the same stuff that we usually do, but I'm going to start in the world of high school football first. Because I was at this game. Chambersburg went to Cedar Cliff, and it looked like a toss-up on paper, honestly, basic where the records were. Early mistakes hurt Chambersburg a little bit, and all the first quarter flags didn't help. I felt like there was 20 penalties in the first quarter alone. It was brutal. But the box score said 14 total penalties for both teams. I'm telling you, the bulk was in the first quarter. Chambersburg fell behind 14-0. And then they started to get their rhythm. They got a nice drive going together and a 39-yard pass play to Devontae Scott, cut the lead in half. Then they forced a 3-and-out, and they started driving again. Their quarterback scrambled down to the 3-yard line, and then the flags happened again. They got penalized twice. They got pushed back. They missed a field goal. And then to make it worse, with 9 seconds left, they gave up a passing touchdown, 21-7. That's a tough way to tough to come back. And let me tell you something. Cedar Cliff had a really nice running tandem what's the guy's name? Howell. CC Howell had 120 yards rushing on 15 carries. A guy named Otero ran the ball 56 yards. They had 17 first downs. They controlled the ball in the second half. But
I know there's something you want to rant about.
all that said, PIAA, what is so? I'm sitting there in the first quarter, and I can overhear our band director yelling something at our band, like and not yelling like in a mad way, but like there's 600 kids, so they have to be loud. And it gets in my head that the band isn't playing during the game. Now, usually, like they play a song, and they've played through snap counts, through field goals, and this was the case when you and I were playing too. Because I remember our band would start, the play would unravel, and our team would do something not the best. There'd be a fumble, an interception, an incomplete, whatever, and our band was still jamming out. Now, like, I noticed this in 10th grade. In 12th grade, like when you're on the field, and Jake's take on this too, you don't hear the band on the field. I didn't. When I started coaching, I didn't hear the stands. I'm so like blinding focused on what's going on in the field.
I'll second that from just like the journalism days of like during stoppages, you're more aware, but like during the play, you're focused on formation, you know, who's got the ball,
who's in the field. Yeah, when I'm broadcasting, same thing. Like what numbers out there, and let's just talk. Now, so apparently, there's a rule, not a rule in the Mid-Penn handbook. It is listed as I wrote it down so I can read it verbatim. Where are we in the world? Here we go. Bands are requested not to play while the ball is in play. And I didn't know if this was a rule or not. So I have a friend named Harry. Harry is a PIAA official. So I checked with him. And this was during the game. And he said, we cannot tell the band to do anything per PIAA rules. Okay. But when I talked to our band director, she said that she had received an email from the PIAA. Basically, I don't know if it was a request or if it was an outline or if it was a threat. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I just know that it felt like she was pressured to follow the request. Listen, PIAA. This is the stupidest, most asinine request that you can make.
Why have bands?
I paid attention. I paid close attention to college football yesterday. Yes, those bands play at the immediate end of a play, and then they're done. These kids are in high school. They're not that up and ready. They're learning their craft as well. And I'm going to read you Harry's text. And so this is the point counterpoint. Harry is on the PIAA side here. He said it should absolutely not happen. It's unsportsmanlike. It's one thing to cheer if you have the fans to do it, but these are kids that are trying to learn and play a game. Same as booing when the visiting teams come out. So he's comparing the bands playing to fans booing high school kids. First of all, I am completely in opposition to that.
I think if you're going to make a comparison, I think a better comparison would be like artificial noise is not allowed. Like air horns aren't allowed. If you want to compare band noise to cowbells or air horns or noisemakers, that's a better comparison. But I disagree with that too, because the same way that we're saying that football is an extension of the classroom, band is an extension of the classroom.
My thing is, if the PIAA and the Mid-Penn want to give these football players if they're going to prep them for college and like tell the band you can't play, let's start changing the hash marks and let's start fixing the goalposts. Let's make it a college story here, because my kid is in the band, so this is why I'm all messed up about it. If it was just if I didn't have that kind of connection to it, I probably wouldn't be making this big of a stink about it. But you know what? Man, they're playing during the show. I mean, formula you thought. I'm going to tell you something. You can snap a ball right now. I can hand the ball up to you. You can make it cut. I have no problem with that. And this is a good band. They do a great job. And I'm telling you, it's the other bands too. The Cedar Cliff band played really well. Harrisburg's band. Sorry, the play's going to start. We got to stop. Harrisburg's band I like a lot, except their fight song is the Ohio State fight song. Yeah. So like when they score, I have to hear "Go Ohio," whatever the name of that song is. Every band plays during the gameplay, and if kids can't focus, if we have to have an SAT test level classroom for kids to throw a football, I might be done with football. Forever.
Yeah, and I'm still stuck on the band being comparable to booing. Booing is like actively targeting a child negatively.
I am not cool with that.
Yeah,
at the high school level,
a band like I said, that's a positive educational thing that, by the way, everyone seems to enjoy. I've said for years that I think NFL teams should have bands like college and high school.
Yeah. Was it like Super Bowl III? Did they have I think about the old NFL films that Steve Sable put together, and the intro shots. There was like a marching band. I think Washington had a marching band too for a while, didn't they?
The Baltimore Colts did too, because there was a 30 for 30 about, and the band played on where when the team moved to Indianapolis and the Baltimore band kept playing on Sundays, even though they didn't have a team anymore.
I got to tell you, from a fan's perspective, I'm sitting there and I'm by myself because Jen and Maria don't make the trip to road games. Maria doesn't do well on the road, so I'm kind of sitting there by myself. I sit by the band, and as the play, like as the quarterback gets under center, it sounds like this. It is silent. Even like there's no noise in the stands. It was Cedar Cliff's homecoming. They had 26 people in their bleachers. It honestly felt like my classroom.
Yeah,
it didn't feel like a sporting event.
Are we going to regulate how loud fans can be?
Well, I mean, there's no regulation in the book. It's only bands, and I get it. We have, 100 kids who are actively, playing an instrument in synchronization, so the noise can be louder. But Jake's take number one here. What do we do in basketball when the student section has like those big signs and they're trying to stop you from hitting a free throw? Should we stop them as well?
Right. Yeah.
And those kids get brutal. Like we talk about fans booing other kids. These kids know the other teams. It's like Fab 5 level trash talk because they're on social media and they know these kids. So, and we have a pep band at basketball. I don't know if there's a rule about that though, because inside a basketball arena, those saxophones and trumpets hit a lot harder than they do at Colt Stadium in Cedar Cliff, Pennsylvania. Let me just tell you.
But I will say communication is more important in football. Not that it's not important in basketball.
In basketball, you got the coach calling the plays from the sidelines, and I think you got to talk in basketball just as much.
I don't think it's quite the same as in football, where snap count is so important.
Yeah, everybody has to move at the same time. They're both important, and
sure.
Yeah, I get they're high school kids, but the high school kids are up in the stands, and these band kids, like as a football player, I didn't pay attention. As a dad watching his kid in the band, you should see the smiles on these kids. It's something else. And I'll tell you what, I want you to oh, where'd I go? I lost him.
I'm here.
There he is. I want you to watch this at the end. We're going to play 30 seconds of Crazy Train. Hopefully he doesn't ban us for this. But I want you to look at the face of the kid versus the dancing these guys would do during games. Look at the dance routines. They're there doing their thing just as much as the football team. And we're coming up to the end of it. You can see the one. Let's stop and watch Derek's face. Yeah. Yeah. Here I am. Here I am in a football game trying to do my thing. No.
They should learn. They should learn how to play the sounds of silence just to troll the PIAA.
I don't. I'm at a loss, and I've held my tongue long enough, and 15 minutes of ranting is enough. Going back, it's talking about our alma mater. I don't know if you saw the Hazleton score.
I did.
They played Wilkes-Barre. Wilkes-Barre had 4 fumbles, 9 penalties, and almost lost a 28-point lead. Wilkes-Barre takes a 35-21 win, and their coach Ciro Cinti. That's a great Northeastern PA name.
Sure.
Ciro Cinti.
For the long time, he used to be the Coughlin. Yeah.
Yeah, it said it was the worst win he's ever been associated with in all the years he's been coaching. You know what's worse than the worst win?
There's no such thing as a best loss.
The best loss, and he knows that. He said as much. Hazleton really struggling with injuries at the quarterback position. 32 passing yards, and 33 of them were on one play. But they had 175 yards rushing. The quarterback, whoever's playing quarterback, had 77 of them. Heck had 89. So that's what we can say about the Cougars. I don't know who they have next week or what the plan is, but I'll tell you what, coming coming home from Friday's game and like soaking in all the irritation, we have a huge weekend of football, of actual like massive games, and unfortunately, like none of them were at noon. There's one like really interesting game at noon, I thought, USC and Illinois.
Yeah, that ended up being a really good game.
And this was one that I think Illinois needed to have after the butt shellacking that they took last week to Indiana.
Yeah.
They looked a lot better this week against USC.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched most of it, and Illinois really controlled in the second half. They were up 31-17 at one point, and then USC got back into it. I know USC was complaining about the start time, coming from Southern California and then playing a noon game, on a bit of jet lag. But if you're going to join the Big Ten, that's what happens.
That's a thing, yeah.
It happens the other way too, where teams, flying west.
That's Michigan State, but that was more of a fan thing than anything. But
right.
Yeah, this was one of those where I just naturally wake up in the morning at 6:00 because hey, there's no school. Let me get up. And by the time football starts, my body's wounded down. I'm sitting on the chair, and I go out. And I was flipping between this. I think Notre Dame was on at the same time.
Yeah,
they absolutely throttled Arkansas. And I was watching Raiders of the Lost Ark as well. I forgot to try to turn the IUP game on. Thankfully, I didn't see that broadcast. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But the big games, LSU Ole Miss was a big game at 3:30. But really, the big games were at night. And let people know what's going on with the hair.
So I stupidly felt good about Penn State.
I did too.
And so I told you that I thought Penn State would win, and if Penn State won, you were gonna wear a Santa hat?
Yeah, I have it here.
Okay, there we go.
Best
of both worlds for our viewer. But since Oregon won, I have to go without my. This is the first time on the podcast I've gone without the hat.
Without the hat, yeah. And you actually said something about getting gel or something. Do you own hair gel?
I own pomade, a gentleman's hair jelly.
Are you a Dapper Dan man?
Certainly not a fop man. Don't get me started on fop.
I didn't think pomade was a thing. I thought that was something made up, but
no, it's a real thing.
Okay.
But this is just pure, this is how I woke up.
Nice, excellent. So
it's been a few months since I got the haircut. I don't have to worry about male pattern baldness. Still going proud and strong up there.
There you go. So I took Oregon, and honestly, I didn't feel good about it. I honestly think, and I still feel this way, that Penn State is a different team at home during a whiteout, and I don't care who comes in. I think Penn State could beat the Steelers. Well, Oregon has really taken control in the Big Ten. They haven't lost a Big Ten regular season game, and coming into Beaver Stadium, I watched a lot of it on mute. We had company come over, and for the first half, we were talking and just experiencing life in the world. The second half, my neighbor, his son, and Derek and I played the 11th month of Pandemic Legacy. It's a board game about trying to cure disease, and there's a story that goes along. So I had the iPad on mute, and I watched a lot of the first half, which was a defensive struggle, it felt like. But then the second half, some things happened that, I mean, as somebody who watched it, I want to get your takes on it because I've heard enough TikToks about it. The Oregon fumble that Penn State returned out to the 50. I've seen conflicting evidence about this. I've heard enough Penn State fans complaining online. Was it a fumble?
So, full disclosure, I did fall asleep for part of the second half. And I didn't see a second of the Georgia-Alabama game.
Oh, neither did I. I just got score updates.
Yeah.
Because Penn State was on Peacock, and I would have had to sit there with my iPad while watching the TV because you can't flip back and forth. Yeah,
it felt weird to have Penn State on Peacock. The NBC hasn't really been home to a lot of Penn State games. But yeah, I fell asleep.
Did you miss the fumble?
I saw the Aller interception.
Okay.
Yeah, but I did miss the fumble.
So what I saw, it looked like his knee was down, but you ask the Penn State fans, the knee was not down. And then something I did see, and I think this was going into an Oregon score. The referees did not call targeting when there was clear crown of the helmet to helmet contact.
And that's odd because the default is if there's any question that they're going to call it just as a deterrent.
But because I'm sitting there, we're in the middle of a game, and I just peeked over and I saw the play live, and then I saw the replay. And I told my neighbor who was pulling for Penn State, I said, "I'm sorry, man. I think this is a targeting call. It's going to give Oregon a 1st and goal." And then we went back to playing, and Oregon had scored then. So I assumed that it was a targeting, but then late, like in the one TikTok video, the Penn State fan was like, "They missed this holding call from Oregon, and they didn't call targeting on Penn State, but here's another play that they screwed us on." I think that's a natural fan inclination is when you lose a close game like this to see where could things have gone better. And Oregon scored on this drive, but on the third down there was a hold.
And
I don't know.
Those are the easiest calls to criticize because holding or if someone gets an early start on the line, that happens so frequently and goes uncalled so frequently that you can nitpick that stuff. And guess what? You'll be right with the other team because I'm sure everyone does it. It's like speeding. Like everyone goes 5 miles, 5 miles.
It's at what point is the speeding or the holding that egregious that it has to be called? The one example they showed, the third down, I don't know if the Oregon left tackle doesn't hold. I don't know if the Penn State defensive end gets home or not. And we'll never know. And you never know if the holding is called if Oregon converts a 3rd and 17.
And those are the frustrating ones, the ones that happen out in space.
This one was.
Yeah. And also, but I'll just point out the Steelers are up 14-3.
Excellent. I still think Penn State could beat them. I still think Penn State would beat them in a whiteout game. The conversation has to go to James Franklin. Then they're tired of the diplomatic press conference. I think they called it. What do you do if you're a Penn State fan with this guy?
He is kind of becoming this generation's John Cooper.
But see, John Cooper could beat others. He just couldn't beat Michigan.
Right,
Franklin he can't beat a top 10 team. He can't beat Michigan or Ohio State. Now we throw Oregon into that.
I mean, really, his only signature win is that primetime win over Ohio State. Like,
was that the blocked field goal?
Yeah, the
I think that was a
Allen
night game at Penn State too.
Yeah, like,
So
and look, I like James Franklin. You know, he's a good guy, but just not a big game coach. I
I don't know if it was him though. I mean, so again, as somebody who watched it sparingly and mute, I don't think he called a bad game. I think he was aggressive on fourth down when he needed to be. They went for it 3 times. They converted 3 fourth downs. Oregon converted 5 out of 7. It was like one of these things where, like, I was even thinking, well, it's 3rd and 6, which means it's 3rd and 5 because they're going to go for it on fourth down. Because a lot of these were at midfield, and excuse me, their fourth down calls. I mean, there's a couple times that Penn State could have punted and pinned Oregon and tried to play defense, but he was aggressive and went for it, and they converted. I think you got to like that. Aller had a rough day. He was pressured from what I saw in the first half. Oregon's defensive line was, as advertised, a very good defense. I don't know if this one's on Franklin or not.
Well, you know, and I think a lot of the anxiety around Penn State coming into this game, I think it played out the way that Penn State fans feared, that the offense just isn't as potent as you'd hope them to be.
I'm sorry, Oregon's not Villanova.
Right. But, I mean, look, 24 points against Oregon is, you know.
In double overtime.
Right.
That's their fourth quarter, dude. Their fourth quarter, it honestly looked, the tide had turned momentum-wise. That stadium was shaking. I'm really surprised they didn't pull that out. That reminded me a lot of the Michigan game where that Michigan lost in like 7 overtimes or whatever it was. You know, I don't want to do overtime at a whiteout.
You know, it just kind of feels like Aller has not risen to the level I think people want him to be at. He's kind of a Christian Hackenberg.
Yeah, I could see that.
You know?
Which, I mean, it's not that that's a bad bar, but it's not.
He's perfectly fine, but he's not. It doesn't feel like he's like the quarterback of a national championship caliber offense.
True.
He's not going to win the game on his own.
And even more so than that loss, if you go to ESPN and you look at the potential playoffs, if the season ended today and all that silliness, yeah, Miami's still number 1. It's whatever. But Penn State has fallen out of the top 12. I don't know where they kind of fit. Again, Memphis bumping somebody out by winning their conference. What's kind of interesting there is the 8-9 matchup, Georgia at Alabama, because Alabama just went into Georgia and destroyed a 33-game home winning streak or whatever it was. I don't know how long it's been since it's 6 years. I wrote it down. The Bulldogs hadn't lost a game at home in 6 years, and Alabama never trailed in this one. I think it was a close game, but
this was not the Alabama team that I saw against Florida State.
No.
I felt very certain that Georgia was going to dominate.
I don't know if I had dominate, but I would have picked Georgia at home, and I probably would have given the points whatever they were given.
I felt Georgia would win by 2 touchdowns.
Alabama came in through a little trickery. They threw some weird plays at them. Like I said, they did a good running game, controlled the line. They held the ball for, I want to say, 39 minutes. So that would be a matchup to then go play Miami. Alabama-Miami would be an interesting game, but if you look down the potential Oregon-Ohio State semifinal is still – I don't know if they play in the regular season. For some reason, I don't think they do.
I don't think they do either.
That would be a Big Ten title game potential rematch. And again, it's week 4, week 5 in college football. This is ridiculous in its own little way.
Are you sold on Miami? I'm not.
No, well, I'm not sold on the ACC, period. But
like Miami's, what's their signature win? They beat a Notre Dame team that we've realized is not as good as their preseason hype.
No, I think this might be the case of if they're won now, then until they lose, who takes them over? But I think if people win out the way they're supposed to, If Ohio wins out, they beat Penn State. If they win the game, they'd have to be the number 1 seed. I don't care if Miami's undefeated or not.
I think Ohio State is clearly the best team in the country.
Yeah, we'll see if they hold on and can win the 3 or 4 games it takes.
And by the way, if Ohio State's not the best team in the country, Oregon might be.
Oregon might be. I like LSU, even though they didn't get done against Ole Miss. Here's the thing with a 12-team playoff, you can fight your way back in, and Penn State can fight their way back in. I mean, next week, Oregon's off. They have Indiana. Indiana flies out to Autzen. That'll be a big game, and Penn State gets to lick its wounds against UCLA. UCLA is coming in winless, but this is probably the Bruins Super Bowl, so.
Yeah, and I mean UCLA. I mean they're already dealing with an early season coaching change. So they canned Deshaun Foster 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So Penn State should be favored by 30, and they honestly should cover that. But how you react after a loss like this goes a long way into the rest of your season. Michigan's off this week, so we didn't have a lot to do. We have Wisconsin next week. They should be pushovers, but again, it's college football. You don't know.
And Wisconsin's coming off of being embarrassed by
Maryland, yeah.
By Maryland. So who knows if they're going to hang their head or if they're going to be fired up.
It's on the road. I don't care where you play. Road games are hard.
Yeah, Camp Randall's a tough place.
Speaking of road games, Bloomsburg on the road. I didn't see the score.
10-7 shootout. One of those classic PSAC shootouts.
So many close games for Bloom.
Yeah, they now have 3 losses by a combined 7 points.
That's tough.
This one came to a winless Shippensburg, and Bloom in the fourth quarter threw 3 interceptions, including one on like an end around, ill-advised pass that was just thrown into traffic where only Shippensburg was going to get it, and they did to run out the clock. Just an ugly loss, a bad omen. That Bloom finds itself in these close games. At a certain point, it starts to become a self-fulfilling prophecy where you're in a close game and you're like, oh boy, here we go again. Every way that the early part of the season could break badly for Bloom, it has.
It's the Penn State feeling, a close game against the top 10 team. Well, what's going to go wrong? And then when it does, it's like, I told you. Yeah.
I should have made a bet with your dad, an alma mater bet.
You can't wear a hat next week either. But IUP played Seton Hill. Or no. Yeah, it was Seton Hill. Yeah. They won the game 40-13. I was sleeping through it. So I checked the box score, and IUP wins the game 40-13. IUP holds the ball for 39 minutes. How many rushing yards do you think IUP has? Get within 20.
240.
54. If you take sacks into account, 32.
Wow.
They had 400 yards passing, though. 7 different receivers get at least 20 yards. Listen, wild. I don't know how you're not running the ball better. I mean, 400 yards passing is great. When you're winning a game by 27 points, you have to be able to run the ball. And this is the problem with them in the second half. That happened against Ashland. They couldn't run out the clock. They couldn't maintain a drive. Now you have a 40-13 lead against Seton Hill. And Seton Hill's record now 2-3. You have who's coming in for homecoming next week? Edinburgh. Edinburgh's coming in a 2-2 team, so that's it's a toss up on paper record wise.
I'll tell you what though. I saw Edinburgh. That's who Bloomsburg beat. That is Edinburgh's not very good.
It's a good homecoming game for IUP, is what you're saying?
A classic homecoming. Yeah. Someone pat the schedule maker on the back.
I need to be able to run the ball, especially when it gets cold in Pennsylvania.
I was going to say that that's what Bloomsburg relied on for all those years. What was the running game where they had a Marcus Glaze or a E.J. Henry or a Jamar Brittingham or a Franklin Kouyaté, where when it got to be November, December, and they could count on getting yards on the ground and not having to risk it throwing it in the wind and the cold.
It's the Indiana University of passing game, I guess. But well, who does Bloomsburg have next week? I didn't write that down.
I didn't. God, I forget. I was looking at the schedule yesterday and I forget who it is now.
Well, now we have to talk to our producer. The
Lockhaven.
Bloomsburg. Would you have Lockhaven?
I believe it's Lockhaven.
Well, let's see, Mr. Smarty Pants. In fact, it is Lockhaven.
1 for 1. All right.
The Husky Legacy Club game, honoring championship teams. 2:00 on 106.5 Bigfoot Country if you're in the Northeast.
Yeah, the great Jim Doyle and Andy Ulickney on the call.
There you go. So from high school to college, we'll work our way all the way up to the pros where they don't seem to care about the noise in the stands. And Thursday's game, Seahawks-Cardinals, was, I guess, a better game than people would have guessed. Again, I don't really watch the Thursday games. But the one thing that I wanted to ask you in terms of the NFL, this happened on Monday or Tuesday on the radio after the Lions-Ravens game. They were pontificating about how things are working for both excuse me, about the teams like Baltimore and Kansas City, and how they don't necessarily worry about the regular season too much. That they're focused on the playoffs. So the question to you is, when does the regular season start to matter? Because right now Baltimore is 1-2, and their next 3 games at the Chiefs, home against the Texans, and the Rams, those are going to be close games. You could sneeze and they're 1-5.
Right.
When
So
does the regular season start to matter?
I think it sounds weird, but it varies by team. It depends on the strength of your division. I think the Chiefs are in bigger trouble than the Ravens because the West is a much stronger division than the North. And I think the Chiefs are in bigger trouble than the Ravens because the Ravens have just looked better on offense, and the Chiefs can't seem to do anything. They have no consistency. They're dealing with injuries.
The injuries piled up on them quick.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Like the Ravens are 1-2, and I could still see a scenario where they finish 12-5 and win the North.
I could see
the
that.
Chiefs, I could see the snowballing, and they're an older.
I could also see them 1-5 losing to the Chiefs, Rams, and Texans. Then you've got to go on a 10-game winning streak.
I think they win at least 2 of those 3. The Rams really impressed me last week, obviously, but the Chiefs are just not a very good team. Like I had that thought watching them against the Giants, where I was like, this just is not a very good Kansas City team.
I think you put the Chiefs up there with the Bengals with me with my preseason picks. I think I had them 16-1 or 15-2. Like, how could they lose this game? How could they lose that game? When you looked at the schedule before the season started, I think this week had a lot of circles on it, but I don't think there's a bigger circle than tonight's game. With Green Bay coming to Dallas, I heard a story on the radio, and I don't know if this is petty or whatever, but before the trade, before Micah Parsons was sent to Green Bay, Parsons wanted to stay in Dallas allegedly, and Parsons had purchased a suite at Cowboy Stadium, or maybe a number of suites for his family to come in and watch him play. And these things are not cheap. Now, granted, Micah Parsons is doing better financially than the two of us combined.
He makes a nice buck. He makes a good living.
He does. And with no state income tax in Texas, he was doing fine. However, after the trade, I don't know if the word came, like if he was trying to get a refund, like, look, I don't need these. Dallas wouldn't grant it. Dallas said no refunds. And listen, it's not like Dallas couldn't sell those suites to somebody else, some oil tycoon in Houston. That those seats would be picked up in a nanosecond.
Yeah, I'm sure like a corporation would love to have something like that as like a a little enticement or a little corporate giveaway or something like
But that was a thing coming into this game. The radio people were saying, yeah, well, Micah's family's going to at least have nice seats because they didn't let him return these tickets. Micah wants to have a big game. Do you think he has one?
I do. Look, Dallas is in trouble. they don't have CeeDee Lamb for at least 4 weeks.
Yeah.
What else do they have? CeeDee Lamb is by far their best player.
Well, you have to look at George Pickens or I don't know his first name, Turpin, and say, look, you guys have to step up. I mean, George Pickens has the capability of being a number one. He's not a one. He's like a if we're looking at if ranking starting pitches, he's not an ace. He's like a 2 or a 3.
Right,
but a really good 3. Can he step into Lamb's spot? Yeah,
he's in Dallas for a reason because he's a basket case.
Yeah, well, that's
he's inconsistent. He's a bad locker room guy.
He's a good athlete. He can go out and catch 7 balls for $130. He can.
I just see a scenario where Dallas gets down early, has to throw, and Micah can just pin his ears back and just feast.
Yeah.
This is what Jerry Jones feared. This team would be as bad as they are, and now they're welcoming in the Green Bay Packers and Micah Parsons.
What do you think the fan reception is?
I think he is received warmly because I think the fans strongly dislike Jerry Jones, and I think they see Micah as the wronged party here, and I think they welcome him back warmly.
I agree. I don't think they have a reason. Like all intents and purposes, you heard Micah wanted to stay there. It's not like get me out now. I hate this place.
And the nonsense with the suite, I mean, that only adds to people like Jerry Jones is really steering into this heel turn.
He is. The other thing I thought would be slightly interesting is if we switch gears here to the Eagles and the Bears. The Eagles are positioned a lot better, I think, than Chicago right now. And we're going to do a quick list with you. But it's not like rank roulette. You're going to get all 15 NFC teams. You're going to get every one of them. What I want you to do is I want you to rank them in order of which you'd like to see Philadelphia have to play them in the NFC title game. So you're not going to get Philadelphia. All right, you're going to get 15 teams. The one is the team you want to see the most. So,
okay.
if you could play Penn State under James Franklin, they'd be 1. Okay. And then 15 is the team you don't want to see. All right, so no hidden teams here. You're going to get every one of them, starting with the New York Giants.
I'll rank them 4th.
4.
Just because they aren't good, but they are a division rival, and they do who knows what Jackson Dart, who's starting this week, who knows if he injects some life into that team, and they do have Malik Neighbors.
Gotcha. New Orleans Saints.
1. They're the worst team in football.
Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas played them tough in the opener. CeeDee's going to be back eventually. I'll say 6.
6. The Chicago Bears.
They are not last week notwithstanding, they are not a particularly good offensive football team. I'll say they're better than the Cowboys, obviously. I'll put them 7th.
7. The Atlanta Falcons.
They're another team that's a bit of a mystery, but Michael Penix makes them a little dangerous. Bijan Robinson, I'll say 9th.
9. Then we have the Carolina Panthers.
Again, last week notwithstanding, they're not a good team. I'll say 3rd.
3rd. The LA Rams.
14.
The Washington Commanders.
Jaden's having a bit of sophomore slump, but they can be dangerous. I'll put them 9th.
9th. You have the Atlanta Falcons 9th. Do you want them above them or below them?
But I'll put them 10th.
10th. Okay. And I know keeping track of numbers, I'll help you with that.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions.
15.
The Seattle Seahawks.
8.
And the Minnesota Vikings.
Is 5 open?
5 is open.
Yeah, they're getting stomped here by the Steelers. I'll put that at 5.
That helps the cause. the Arizona Cardinals.
They're not very good. What single digit numbers are left?
2. 2.
They're better than 2, but I'll put them 2 because they're not a double digit.
The Green Bay Packers.
13.
And the San Francisco 49ers.
What numbers left? 10? 11?
11 and 12.
11.
11, which makes today's game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they finished 12th. That's kind of the reason I put this list together, because the Eagles and Tampa have some history in the playoffs.
Todd Bowles has the Eagles number. The Eagles, the last 2 matchups have been dreadful. The playoff loss 2 years ago and the regular season loss last year. The thing that I try to take comfort in is the Eagles were shorthanded both times, that they didn't have AJ, they didn't have Devontae. But that first half last week was abysmal by the Eagles. Hopefully opening things up and just, we joke about the guy in the stands shouting the obvious things to the coaches.
Try blocking.
Thank God for the guy who shouted, "Throw it to AJ Brown." Because Kevin Patullo was like, yeah, I should get it in the hands of my best receiver.
Well, why not?
So hopefully the second half is the omen of, they're like, we can open things up a little bit. We can let Jalen Hurts throw the ball a little. But yeah, the Bucks are scary. The Bucks are tough.
I was interested to see who might have been above them. You have the Rams. For obvious reasons, they came in to Lincoln, for all intents and purposes, won that game. And the Lions are scary. They're a very good football team, as are the Packers. So I think if you told me the Final Four was going to be the Rams, Lions, Eagles, and Packers, I don't think I would argue too much.
And here's the thing: I think the NFC is much deeper than the AFC.
I think it's deeper than we originally thought. I mean, I thought the AFC was preseason between the Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Bengals. I like the Chargers before they went on the tear. And in the NFC, I saw Detroit and I saw Philadelphia. I didn't think the Rams were as good as they were going to be. I think Stafford was kind of like deking us with the injury a little bit. I didn't think Green Bay was going to be this good, but here we are.
And who knows? Jordan Love has yet to prove that he can.
But here's
the
Micah Parsons effect. Last year, the Dallas secondary was ranked in the top 5 in the NFL as one of the better secondaries in the league. This year, they're down near the bottom. Last year, Green Bay secondary, down near the bottom. This year, they're in the top 5.
This Dallas defense might be the worst defense in football.
But it's amazing what one edge guy does to help. Like, I don't have to cover for 6 seconds now. I only have to cover for 3.5. That helps the cause. So I think the depth in the NFC it's better than I thought it was.
Like I've seen like Rex Ryan and like Damian Woody and like the ESPN guys who were talking about how this Dallas defense is so bad that on some of the breakdowns they don't even know who to blame, like whose fault it was. Like some of the calls are so head scratching. Some of the defenses that Eberflus is putting them in. That Rex Ryan, who whatever else you think of him, is one of the most knowledgeable defensive coaches of this generation of the past 25 years. And he's just shaking his head like, what coverage are they in?
Well, I mean that's how intense Eberflus's defense is. He's confusing a great defensive mind like Rex Ryan. Give Eberflus credit there.
I mean, we were texting during last week's game, and I mean, that was exactly what Caleb Williams needed. Was
Oh my gosh.
to play that Dallas defense.
I mean, last week I said Dallas 38-31. I thought that Chicago's offense would do well. The Chicago defense, I think they got a break when CD got hurt, and Dallas didn't adjust to that well. The Bears defense clamped down. They got some lucky breaks. They got a tipped pass interception. They got a dropped ball interception. The Bears didn't impress me to the point where I think they're going to go to Las Vegas and pull out a 14-point win. I think it's a close game. I think they have the capability of winning in Las Vegas. I don't know if I'd pick them to win. I think Caleb Williams needs a good game today to build some confidence. If he has a good game today and he builds up some confidence, that could be a season changer for him.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's such a subjective thing to talk about, like momentum and player confidence. Like we were talking kind of with Penn State, how it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy of like when you're losing to a top 10 team, or like I was saying with Bloomsburg, where you're in a close game and you've lost a few like that and you're like, here we go again. Conversely, like you said, Caleb Williams, he threw 4 touchdowns last week?
4 touchdowns, his best day as a quarterback and as a pro.
Yeah, and so you're right. If he goes into Vegas and he throws, 3 touchdowns, he throws for 250, runs for another 50, suddenly, now you start to feel a little unstoppable.
The Bears after Vegas head to Washington, and then they have the Saints. So a good game here snowballs, I think. We'll see.
Jaden Daniels, is he back this week, next week? What's his injury status?
That's a great question. Jaden.
Because I know Carson Wentz is here playing for Minnesota because JJ is still out with the ankle.
It just the injury tracker, he is out with a knee injury.
Okay.
As of 3 hours ago.
Okay. So, yeah, I didn't even see the specifics of what he did to the knee. Like I saw the hit that he took, but have they diagnosed him with like a meniscus or like a hyperextension? Or
doesn't say.
Huh.
Doesn't say. But that's not what you. When the radio people would talk about him as if he's the greatest quarterback in the NFC, if you're hurt, you're hurt. It's not that you're having a bad year. Like C.J. Stroud's sophomore slump, he wasn't hurt. He just didn't have as good a year as his rookie year.
He was playing behind one of the worst lines in football is what C.J. Stroud's problem was.
Yeah. That was Caleb Williams' problem last year. It's amazing when you're not sacked 74 times, you have time to throw the ball.
Yeah.
So, all right, here we go. Quick hits.
And the other point is it's not even the getting sacked. It's then you start to get the happy feet.
The pressure, yeah. You get nervous. So, speaking of nervous, last week, Tim, you were over 500. You were 9-7.
Not great.
Your Chiefs lock of the week came in, so at least there's that.
You
still already hit on Seattle. Pool. What's that?
I'm still alive in my survivor pool.
Excellent. You hit on Seattle on Thursday, so that's good. You have Pittsburgh. You texted me before the game, so we have Pittsburgh locked in for you. Give me a winner now. Bears at Raiders.
I'm going to say Bears.
Attaboy. Commanders at the Falcons.
Who's quarterback? Who's Jaden Daniels' backup? I forget.
Marcus Mariota.
Mariota? But the Falcons are coming off an ugly loss. Give me Washington.
Commanders on the road. Saints at Bills.
This is what happened to me last week. I kept taking road teams. Bills.
Thank you. The Saints are going to win a game. They're going to win a game they're not supposed to win. I don't think it's this one either.
It's going to be in like December when someone's like resting starters or like they have a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
They're not going to go 0-17, probably.
So I don't know if I should read this as I typed it or as I know it. I'll read it as I typed it. The Panthers at the Patriots.
The Panthers.
The Panthers, who should be the Panthers, but I guess Panther is a real word. Yeah, one who pants.
I don't think the Panthers get lucky 2 weeks in a row. Give Give me the Patriots.
Take the home team. Browns at the Lions.
In my survivor pool, I did take the Lions as my lock.
This is your lock of the week, huh?
The Browns aren't beating two NFC powers in back-to-back weeks.
All right. Chargers at the Giants.
Chargers.
Eagles at Bucks.
I'm going to tentatively take the Eagles.
You've done that. You've tentatively taken them, and they do fine. So,
well, last week I tentatively took them, and they had 33 yards at halftime and got booed off the field. So,
but they won.
Look, if they block 2 field goals today, I like their chances.
You like their chances. Titans at the Texans.
Texans.
The Colts are at the Rams.
Oh, Danny Dimes runs out of luck today. I like the Rams.
The Niners are hosting the Jaguars.
The Niners.
Ravens at Chiefs.
Ravens.
The nightcap tonight. Who do you have, the Packers or the Cowboys?
Packers by 1,000,000.
By 1,000,000. And then Monday night, the Bengals are at the Broncos.
Boy, and the Bengals, they lost their shot at 17-0. I'm going to take the Broncos. I like the Broncos. I think the Broncos still haven't quite put it all together. They had that one ugly loss to the Colts, but I like the Broncos.
My head just went to Groundhog Day when Bill Murray's like, I told you, call me Bronco.
Sorry, Bronco.
Sorry, Bronco. and there it is. 56 minutes of high school, college, and pro football. And it's taken us this long to get to the final day of the regular season. And holy
the
cow,
playoffs start Tuesday.
There's so much cool stuff to talk about in the world of Major League Baseball. As you said, the playoffs start on Tuesday. We don't know who's playing. There's 3 big important ties right now in baseball.
Can we dance on the Astros' grave a little bit, though? Hit batter with the bases loaded to fall out of the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Go to hell, Astros. The world hates you.
Nice.
Yeah, cheating sons of guns.
Yeah, that'll show. But the 3 ties in record-wise, not ranking in terms of importance, but the Yankees and Blue Jays are both 93 and 68 on top of the East. The Tigers and Guardians 87 and 74 on top of the Central. And the Mets and the Reds are both 83 and 78.
Yeah.
So Cincinnati we'll start with Cincinnati because the other 4 teams are in the playoffs. If Cincinnati wins today against Milwaukee, they're in the playoffs. They have a 4-2 series win over the Mets. And I don't know if I've rooted for a team from Ohio harder.
I really want to see the Reds knock the Mets out. That would just be fantastic.
And I'm looking. I don't know who the probable starter is for Milwaukee. They have Freddie Peralta listed, but I don't know if he's going to be the actual starter because you want to line up your playoffs. But Milwaukee has a bye, so he probably does pitch today. He might be the best pitcher on the Brewers. The Reds are throwing Brady Singer.
You kind of have to wonder, though. The Brewers have they locked up the one?
That's
the top seed in the bye.
I haven't the National League. I don't know. I know if the Yankees win and the Blue Jays lose, the Yankees are the one. But if the Yankees don't win the East, they host the wild card.
The Brewers either have 95 or 96 wins, and I believe the Phillies have 94.
No, they have. So the Brewers have a 1-game lead over the Phillies. So I mean, there's another thing for the Brewers to play for.
Yeah. So they both have something at stake then.
Oh yeah. So that's a great game. And I heard again on the radio that people are lamenting why Major League Baseball has their schedule set up that it ends on a Sunday up against the NFL. And they don't put the World Series on a Sunday against the NFL. I've heard that. I don't know. I mean, I don't think you can just bow down to awesomeness that is pro football. You run your league the way you run it, and there's still going to be people in the stands.
And here's the thing: there's football, Sunday, Monday, Thursday. What are you going to do? Like, you're not going to go up against them. You're only going to limit yourself to scheduling 4 days out of the week.
No. And
with travel.
Yeah, but I think the storylines going into this last regular season series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, were so cool. The Rays couldn't give the Yankees any help. The Marlins knocked the Mets down, and like I think that's just incredible. Like you said, the Astros getting bumped for the first time in almost 10 years.
You want to hear a wild fact about the Marlins?
I in fact want to hear a wild fact about the Marlins.
So in 34 years of existence, they have only qualified for the playoffs 4 times.
And they won the World Series
and
too.
And 2 titles.
That's crazy. So you don't want to see the Marlins in the playoffs is what you're saying.
Yes.
Because when they get there, they know how to win.
Yeah. And I'm curious, like, what kind of, like, statistical stuff. Like, obviously we had Cal Raleigh get to 60 this week.
They said, will we get 5 50 home run seasons? Suarez has 49 coming in.
Right. And
that's a maybe. I mean,
Seattle's locked in. They're not necessarily playing for anything of significance.
They wondered, could Raleigh break the American League record? He'd need 3 home runs today. That's a lot to ask. I mean, against the Dodgers, nonetheless.
Right.
What was the other one I saw? Would Juan Soto get 40-40? He's got 38 steals. I mean, you're asking Juan Soto to get 2 stolen bases in a game.
I worry about getting in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, so Juan Soto's going to play, and he's going to play hard. And, what would be amazing to me is if Juan Soto went 4 for 4 with 4 doubles, and they lost the game.
From your lips to God's ears.
Sure. And, if he can't steal, not going to steal third. So there's that. On September, I wrote this down because this is amazing. On September 1st, the Mets had a 94.5% chance of making the playoffs, according to Fangraphs. And they have gone 11-17 in August and 10-14 in September. This is it's not quite what Detroit did. The Detroit collapse was cushioned a little bit because they won and they got themselves into the playoffs, and they can still win the Central if they win today in Cleveland. I don't know who has the tiebreaker there.
Cleveland.
Cleveland does, so they need a Cleveland loss. They're in the playoffs at least. If the Mets collapse out, Frank the Tank is going to have a heart attack, I think. And
yeah, I've just seen nothing on social media but Mets fans having meltdowns about how much they hate this team. Like, even, I think it was Friday night, the guys in the booth for, I forget who the Mets broadcast team is, but they were just like, you could, like, the disgust was palpable. You could hear it in their voice of just like, you almost get the sense that fans want them to not make the playoffs so they don't have to care. Like just end it,
I felt that way. I remember, I want to say it was 2000, so I will. The Yankees had an awful September. They limped into the playoffs, but then they got hot and they won the World Series. You always try to get in, and yeah, I understand the not wanting to care thing.
Look at the Diamondbacks a few years ago. They won 83, 84 games.
Is that
and
the year they played
the
Texas?
World Series. Yeah, they beat the Phillies in the NLs. They were down to the Phillies. Everyone assumed the Phillies would either win Game 6 or Game 7. Arizona wins both, and then they end up going to play Texas in the series.
Yeah, I always fall under the I want to care. I don't want to watch the Texas Arizona World Series, not because they're not big markets, but because it's not the Yankees. I'll still watch them, and I'll enjoy the last couple of innings of baseball of 2025. But yeah, there's nothing. I still get the edge of the butterflies, the nerves. I don't get that for football anymore. I remember watching football in high school, and like I would be like physically nervous about a Michigan game.
Yeah,
I don't feel I want them to win. Don't get me wrong. I just don't. I'm not super into it as much. But playoff baseball, every pitch I get that way. Still,
I got that a little bit with the Michigan Alabama playoff game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I did.
But I didn't get that with the Super Bowl last year, and I think it's because the Eagles had lost to the Chiefs 2 years before that. So
They absolutely hammered the Chiefs. I might have been more nervous because I dislike Patrick Mahomes. The whole greatest thing.
I almost pulled a back muscle jumping out of my chair when Cooper DeJean
hit that pick six. I couldn't get over, and I still will never get over the awfulness of the Fox graphics. Like that ruined the Super Bowl for me, despite how poorly Kansas City played.
That's the TV production guy in you.
It is the graphic designer guy. I don't even know where to go with our Boston New York talk, because we could be playing each other on Tuesday. We could have to wait till the ALCS. I don't know. It's a complete toss up based on today's games.
Yeah, and that's all on you, because Boston's locked into that second wild card spot.
I thought about when we'll draft a little bit later. One of the things I thought about drafting, and we're not going to, who are the players that you don't want to see? Who are the players you don't want to play against in the playoffs? And Garrett Crochet is number one, and Aroldis Chapman might be on the list too, because he's found himself.
Chapman's been so hot this year, and especially the second half. He's been unreal.
So you guys have weapons. In a short series, the wild card's 2 out of 3, right?
Yes.
It's no longer the one and done, which is fine. I was fine with one and done. I'm fine with 2 or 3. I'm not going to argue with more baseball, but I think it's for that reason. I think it's important the Yankees win the East, and they don't have to play Boston as the wild card team. The Mariners, I think, would get the lowest wild card team. They would get Cleveland, I guess.
Yeah, either Cleveland or Detroit. Whoever doesn't win the Central will be the third wild card. Boston's the second, and then either New York or Toronto would be the first wild card.
And then they don't reseed then either. So like the Yankees might have to go play the Blue Jays yet again.
Right.
And the Blue Jays, I think, have like a 7-game winning streak against the Yankees. They swept a 4-game series in New York, and I think they took 3 up in Toronto too.
Now, let me ask you this: taking the Yankees out of consideration, because obviously that's who you would want to see in the World Series. Of all the non-Yankee teams in the AL, and then anyone in the NL, who would you want to see in the World Series?
I would take Seattle. I like Julio Rodriguez. I think you get the Cal Raleigh story, which I think is good.
Seattle's the only franchise to never qualify for a World Series.
Yeah, I think that's nice. I don't want to. Obviously, I'm not going to want to see Boston there. Contrary to what my friend Chris's wife says, I'm not going to root for Toronto.
Cleveland would be a nice story with how hot they've been.
I don't like Cleveland.
Obviously with no World Series for the franchise since '48.
And that's fine. I can keep running. In the National League, I guess you kind of want to see the villain there. I wouldn't mind seeing the Dodgers. I would root for Seattle to beat the Dodgers. I don't know if they can, but I would like to see that. It's a West Coast thing too. I think Chicago in the World Series, you can't go wrong with the Cubs there.
I always feel like fall in this area is just so much more exciting when the Phillies are doing well. So the Phillies in the World Series wouldn't be the worst thing for me.
Okay.
Really, anyone in the NL would be a lot of fun. Milwaukee's a great story. Like you said, Chicago. If I had to rank who in the National League I'd least want to see, it's probably San Diego. Like, I don't care about the Padres.
Yeah,
I don't find them particularly compelling. And, obviously if the Mets, I wouldn't want to see the Mets.
No. Oh, heavens, no. Oh, my gosh. That's a compelling matchup thing too. I'd have to look into, how would Detroit and Milwaukee match up? Peralta versus Skubal in game 1, and
right. And like last year, like even like Yankees and Dodgers, it was compelling because of the historical rivalry from going back to Brooklyn, and then also they're just like the two biggest brands, in sports.
The big money teams, despite
bi-coastal.
Despite what people think, the Yankees are not number 1 in salary. I had that discussion this week. I think the Mets and Dodgers are both ahead of them. I think the Yankees might be 4th, actually.
The Dodgers are currently, I believe, the 3rd biggest employer in all of Asia.
I can see that. The Yankees are number 3.
Computers.
The Phillies are 4. But it's relatively close. Oh, no. I lied. The Phillies are 3. The Yankees are 4. So there it is. Good stuff into the play. By the time we do our next show, we'll have a playoff scenario locked in. And I think last year at this time, we actually knew where things were slotted so we could actually do better predictions. It's tough to do predictions when you don't know who the teams are going to be.
We can just do it like, hey, Max, who do you like to win in the NLCS? And then like you cover your mouth and we can just dub the sound in later like, oh, yeah, no, I like the Padres.
Over Philadelphia. Nice. All right, quick hitter time. Yes. Here we go. We have there's 8 of them, so we actually have to go really quick. So number 1, the ACC fined Syracuse $25,000 and publicly reprimanded the school on Monday for faking injuries in a 34-21 win over Clemson last weekend, calling its actions unethical and contrary to the spirit of the rules. Tim, is the fine too much, not enough, or just right?
It's just right. Everyone does it to some extent, but if you get caught doing it, you should be punished.
All right. Number 2, I got an email from Major League Baseball or the New York Yankees, I'm not exactly sure, advertising postseason gear. The official men's New York Yankees New Era Navy 2025 MLB postseason side patch 5950 fitted hat. Guess how much that's going to cost?
$45.
$52.99. So the fact that you went 45 just tells me, oh my gosh, the cheapest hat is $34, and that's an adjustable. I feel like an old man complaining about costs here, but oh my gosh.
It's a ripoff. Go to Lids.
I have a Yankee hat. I don't need a postseason patch.
I'm not wearing it, but I've got what I need.
There you go.
It's dirty. I like it.
I like the rough one that shows wear and tear. Here we go. WNBA. Minnesota Lynx coach Cheryl Reeve was suspended 1 game due to her conduct and comments during and after Minnesota's 84-76 Game 3 loss to the Phoenix Mercury in the WNBA semifinals. She got ejected in the final seconds of Friday's game after Lynx forward Nafisa Collier's left leg made contact with Mercury guard Alyssa Thomas as Thomas went for a steal. Collier was on the ground grabbing at her ankle. No foul was called in the play. I saw the play. It didn't look like as violent a hit as Reeve portrayed. She went out and said the WNBA is its own worst enemy. What are your thoughts?
I think it has to be something really egregious to suspend a coach or a player at this point in the season.
She ran out onto the court and almost assaulted the ref. I saw that part. She was on the court.
Right. And so being ejected is appropriate. I think a suspension's a little overboard.
Gotcha. Number 4, some tush-push stuff here because we didn't talk about that. Apparently, other teams' defensive lines are calling out signals during the pre-push to try to get the Eagles line to jump. This is illegal, by the way. Eagles lineman Jordan Mailata joked that, quote, the little a-holes on the Eagle scout team imitate Hurts' cadence when they run the QB sneak during walkthroughs in order to try to train the offense to distinguish between Hurts' voice and the imposters. Tim, if you're an Eagles practice squad player, how do you feel about being called a little a-hole?
I wear it like a badge of honor. I'm not an Eagles scout team player, and I get called that. So
there you go. All right, number 5. Earlier this week, Amazon settled with the Federal Trade Commission to avoid a trial over allegations that the online retailer tricked customers into signing up for Prime subscriptions and then made it hard to cancel. This feels a little bit like Planet Fitness to me. We're going to trick you into signing up, and then you can't ever get out of this contract. Just letting you know, Tim, you might be eligible for up to $51 from Amazon. Just letting you know.
Look, I'm already supporting a Nigerian prince. I don't have the money to be throwing around on this stuff.
Let's get you some money then here. Number 6. Tim, this might be something you want to think about, so we could push this off to the side, or so we could table this if you want. But I saw this question. I'm interested.
I don't want to muss my hair, though.
You have to choose a sport to play against a professional athlete who doesn't play that particular sport. If you win, you win $1 million. But if you lose $10,000. Something of significance that would, it wouldn't cripple you, but it would really, really bother you. What sport are you playing, and what athlete are you picking?
I'm gonna play basketball, and I'm gonna pick someone on the senior PGA Tour.
I like that.
So like a 70-year-old golfer. I think I could just back him down and just take his lunch money.
I like that pick. I was going to pick the horse Citizen Bowl and bowling.
Oh, I haven't bowled in forever.
All you got to do is hit one. I don't think the horse can get a pin. So, if you woke up tomorrow,
I should have picked a jockey. I should have played basketball against the jockey.
I think you have a better chance against the senior PGA guy who's 75. That's great. If you woke up tomorrow with superpowers, what is the percentage chance you become a super villain?
Oh boy, I'd like to say it wouldn't happen, but it's a possibility. I'm going to say 20% chance that I at least abuse my powers a little bit.
It's 100% chance you're the villain in somebody's story.
Yeah,
I would totally dismantle the PIAA for personal reasons, but that goes beyond saying. Finally, number 8, happy birthday to Gwyneth Paltrow, the first celebrity I know who came up with a weird name for her kid. You remember that?
Apple,
and she has a son named Moses, by the way. But whatever. Do you have a favorite Gwyneth Paltrow movie?
7.
It's 7 for me. She was also apparently in Dogma, uncredited. You know that?
I did not know that, but that makes sense because she was dating Ben Affleck at the time.
And she was also in the TV series Clerks as a voice actress, I guess. So there you go. Good times. And we are into the B block of our show, and quite possibly the best part of any show we've ever done, our draft. Tim, what are we drafting today?
What are we drafting today?
Hopefully it's a PP&L bill.
No, it's a real actual notebook this week.
Oh my goodness.
We are drafting. It's this weekend is the anniversary of Nap Lajoie becoming the 3rd member of the 3,000 hit club in Major League Baseball. He did it in 1914, the same season Honus Wagner did it.
Wow.
So we are drafting our favorite members of the Major League Baseball 3,000 hit club.
Excellent. And I have a list of 10 here just in case, so we have some overlap. Number and color.
5, red.
5 is the Monroe Doctrine. What do I know about the Monroe Doctrine? It was articulated in President James Monroe's 7th annual message to Congress in December of 1823. The European powers, according to the Monroe, were obligated to respect the Western Hemisphere as the United States' sphere of interest. It warns European nations that the U.S. would not tolerate further colonization or puppet monarchs. Oh, and it's red, by the way.
Oh, all right.
just to do the actual,
And it was a 5, and James Monroe is our 5th president. Very, very apropos.
I think they might have done that. Whoever created these famous American document playing cards that see a lot of time on Soup and Meatballs from Eastern National. That's where I'm sure my dad bought these for me when he was on a trip. So, all right, Tim, you get the first pick in the draft. Where are you going?
So I will say I didn't just limit myself to people in my lifetime, but there's a strong preference for people who I watched play.
Yeah,
Number one was a no-brainer for me. It's Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn. And that takes off guy on my list.
Yeah, just so much fun to watch. Just clearly the greatest hitter of our lifetimes. If we're talking about like a contact hitter.
We had this discussion about you're down by one with Ricky Henderson on second. Who do you want at bat with 2 outs? And I think most of us said Tony Gwynn.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about someone who made contact, you know, it's Gwynn, it's Carew, it's Boggs, you know.
Absolute. Yeah, that's a very fair number one. I don't think there's going to be a lot of surprise about my number one just because I'm a homer and I wear that nicely.
He's not on my list.
Derek Jeter wanted to do this at home, and I remember they were in the middle of a homestand, and the last game was a Sunday. It was the last game of the homestand. He needed 2 hits, and they're playing Tampa, and David Price is on the mound. He gets a base hit in the first, and then he comes up in the third, and he worked this at bat. He worked. It was like a 9 or 10 pitch at bat, and he hit a breaking ball into the left field bleachers. One of 3 people to hit a home run to get hit number 3,000. But what's even cooler about that, he went 5 for 5 that day, and he got an RBI single in the 8th inning to put the Yankees up 5-4, and Rivera closed the door. They got the 5-4 win. It really seems like a lot of Derek's big moments, they're like fairy tale stories. Like his last hit at Yankee Stadium was a game-winning RBI walk-off. This 3,000 hit being a home run. If anybody's lived a more charmed baseball life, I want to hear about it.
And it galls me to say it as a Yankees fan, but I feel like he's like, not in terms of where he is in the pantheon of the greats, but he is the baseball version of Michael Jordan, where he has those big moments that were like highlight reel worthy. Like you just put him in a Nike commercial, you know, the flip against Oakland, you know, the tumble into the stands.
It's interesting you say that. On TikTok this week, I saw it might have been Nike, the thank you captain commercial that they put together, where he's in the cab or the limo, whatever he's doing, going to the stadium, and he's like, "Donna, leave me off here," and he walked past like some New York high spots, Stan's. You remember Stan's, the memorabilia shop across the street?
Yep.
Like he stopped in there and he was talking to kids. He was talking to the old guys playing stickball or handball against the wall. That was a cool commercial. I don't know if I'd put Jeter with Jordan in terms of
I'm not saying like
greatness, but
Jordan's the greatest basketball player in my mind. Jeter's not even a top 10 baseball guy all time for me. But I just mean in terms of like the modern media age of having those kinds of plays that are like replayed over and over, like the shot Jordan had against Cleveland.
Gotcha.
You know, the Brian Russell shot against Utah. Like Jeter is the baseball guy who has those kind of like ready-made moments.
And he's got a pantheon of former girlfriends that are well worth talking about.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Jessica Alba, Minka Kelly, just an all-star caliber.
Forget about it.
My number 2, I'm going to go with really just one of the most unique guys, and we've talked about him before, just like a unique skill set. It's Ichiro.
And he was going to be my next pick. I love Ichiro.
Me too. I still remember like his rookie year. One of the first things I did that baseball season was I bought an Ichiro bobblehead. Yeah, like he just came in 2001. He took the league by storm. Rookie of the year, MVP. You know, the highlights of him throwing guys out and just such a unique talent.
If you look at his major league hits, he's got 3,089, good for 25th of all time. If you include the 1,278 that he had in Japan, that puts him over 100 hits higher than Pete Rose. I know we don't count Japan; they're minor league level, whatever. I mean, there's major leaguers that play over there.
Do you think there will ever be a time where there's a push to add in? Well, it happened with the Negro Leagues, though, where now, like, you know, uh, Josh Gibson is the single season batting average.
I think that's a I think that's a different comparison. I think that people will view the Japanese Professional Baseball League as a step below, as quad A. I really do. I think it would be interesting to see, like how many home runs did Sadahara O have? He's like 900. He's some massive number.
It's said to be in like the 800s or 900s.
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever see his name. If they changed it away from Major League Baseball to professional baseball, but I don't think that's coming anytime soon.
But regardless, the point stands that Ichiro didn't come to the majors till he was 27. If he had been 22, 23, who knows where he would have ended up? 4,000. He would have only been the third guy ever with 4,000 hits.
Yeah, it's hard to say that he wouldn't be number one, but
yeah, especially with that speed.
Yeah, a little dinky slap to third base, and next thing you know, he's on third base after stealing twice.
Yeah,
and the reason I like him, obviously, we've talked about his predilection towards profanity in the All-Star game. One of my favorite non-Yankees before he became a Yankee. So, all right, my number two is another guy who played for the Yankees, but didn't accomplish this feat with New York. I'm going to take Ricky Henderson because
he was my next pick.
Because Ricky is Ricky, and
Ricky gone.
Be a thrill. Talk about a guy who you get a slap single and he's on third.
Yeah,
but Ricky has I wrote down 3,055 hits. It took him a bunch of years to get there. Lord knows he played for enough teams.
Yeah, it feels like he played for every team in the majors. But Ricky Henderson might have been the most exciting baseball player of our lifetime, just because when he got to first, everyone in the stadium knew what was going to happen.
Especially the pitcher and the catcher, yeah.
Yeah, and still, I mean, no one could stop him. I mean, no one's going to break the stolen base record,
And if they do, we'll just say it's because of the bigger bases and the rule changes.
I mean, what did he end up with? 1,400?
That's
like 500 more than Lou Brock.
If we quickly check our friends at Baseball Reference, he is 468 above Lou Brock.
So you'd have to steal like 70 bases for 20 years to approach Ricky.
The current leader. Oh, okay. So the active leader. Do you have any idea who this is?
Oh boy, I really don't.
He started out with Pittsburgh. He is currently a Met. He's been in the league for 14 years. Spent that year in Oakland. Is Starling Marte.
Oh, wow.
Starling Marte has 361 stolen bases.
So that's like 3 seasons of Ricky Henderson in the early 80s.
I mean, Starling Marte is 36 years old. He's got 361, and that's the league leader. Billy Hamilton is 2. He has 326. Jose Altuve has 325. Trey Turner has 315, and then now we're getting under 300. We're talking about still you could give Trey Turner 1,000 stolen bases. He's still 100 behind Ricky Henderson.
Yeah, just unreal.
Yeah, that's a non-breaking record.
Well, since you stole Ricky from me appropriately enough, I'm going to go with the aforementioned Wade Boggs.
Okay, Wade Boggs was on my list.
Just such a consistent hitter.
Another guy hit a home run for his 3,000th.
Yeah, with Tampa.
Yeah, he is the only retired number for the Tampa Rays aside from 42.
Yeah, it felt like every year in the 80s, Boggs was good for hitting 330, 200. hits, smack 40 doubles off the monster, and then, found his way to the Bronx, won a ring there.
What's the story of? I know there's some funny stories about Wade Boggs. The 107 beers.
Yeah, they made a whole episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia around that, where they're trying to break Boggs' record for drinking, 70 or 80
73.
beers. Says. And then he went out the next day and went 2 for 5 against the Mariners.
And I think he was the inspiration for the movie Major League with the whole chicken.
Yeah. The story again goes that he would eat a whole chicken before every game.
Which goes contrary to what Jim Harbaugh would do. Jim Harbaugh would keep chicken away from his football team because it's a chicken bird.
It's a scared bird. Yeah.
It's a cowardly bird or whatever he said.
Yeah.
Wade Boggs he felt like a baseball guy because of stuff like that.
And he's another guy he got a late start because he didn't break in until he was 26.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah, that's why he's so, even though he had so many 200 hit seasons in the 80s, that's why he's so low, relatively in the 3,000 hit club, but because he really only had, maybe like a 7-year prime.
3,010 hits total, puts him 31st.
Yeah.
All right. That's a good 3. I'll tell you what, I will. You know what? I'm almost putting together a really good starting lineup. I have Ricky Henderson leading off, Jeter hitting second. I'm going to take Albert Pujols to hit third. And when you think about Pujols, I didn't think of him in terms of 3,300 hits. He's got over 700 home runs. The only person ahead of him on the hit list and the home run list is Hank Aaron. Albert Pujols even spent those couple years in L.A. banged up, and he had some tough injury seasons. Aside from that, he was what his nickname said. He was a machine. Just cranked out hits and power like nobody else, man.
For the longest time, it was just understood that Lou Gehrig was the greatest first baseman of all time. If you were putting together, an all-time team, Gehrig was just automatically at first. Do you think Pujols did enough that he surpassed Gehrig in terms of all-time first base?
It's a discussion, at least.
700 and 3,000.
I don't know how in-depth the concerns were about the PED use back in that time. And if you look at the suspicion was, and this is largely from Cubs fans, by the way, was if you looked at his minor league stats and then what he did, and how did he get that much better that quickly? I don't know.
Right, because he wasn't some big prospect that everyone's like, oh, wait till Pujols gets called up.
Yeah, but there was testing at some point, and the breakdown when he got to Anaheim also fed into that narrative. I don't know. I'm still a Yankee slappy, so I like hearing Gehrig's name number one. But it's an obvious discussion, like you said. 703,000 are just massive numbers for a guy, and he has a ring. He won in St. Louis, so I don't know.
Do you think him going to Anaheim lessened his legacy? Would he be considered greater if he'd stayed in St. Louis and won more rings with those teams?
Would Barry Bonds have felt better if he stayed in Pittsburgh and did all this stuff there? I don't know. I don't mind players in the era of free agency. It's fine. Your Derek Jeters that stick around for one team, I think they're unicorns.
Yeah,
really. Some of the big power hitters of the 2000s, like Miguel Cabrera went from Florida to Detroit. A-Rod bounced around. Kyle Schwarber bounced around, the big guy now. I think that's just a fact of the current state of sports.
Yeah, and you're right, because there are a few names on my list, and a lot of them are guys who bounced around.
And you ask St. Louis fans, yeah, well, it's a totally different story.
So let me think. So I'm picking my fourth now?
Yeah, you got number 4 coming up.
You would think the Homer and me would pick another Boston guy, but I'm going to go with my dad's favorite player and a guy who just, like, for me, sort of like embodies like the romanticism of a certain era of baseball, and I'm going to go with Willie Mays.
Okay, that's fair.
He just kind of, like, when people think of like that like peak of like 50s and 60s baseball, like he's the face that comes to mind.
I have no Willie didn't make my list, but again, I didn't see him as much as your dad would have. The 500 home runs, 300 stolen bases, 3,000 hits,
600 for the longest time. He was third all time. He was 660.
Not sure where my head was. You don't see a lot of that combination.
Yeah, just like when you talk about like someone who was an all-time great five-tool guy, he's like the prototype. Between his defense, the base running, and then hitting for power.
We talked about stadiums last week. Where was the catch in the Polo Grounds?
Yeah, the '54 World Series. Yeah, Vic Wertz.
Where he basically ran a 75-yard fly pattern.
Yeah, just ran like back to the plate. Just wild stuff. And then, everyone focuses on the catch, the throw back in from being 480 feet out.
Yeah.
He didn't crow hop and throw it. He just planted, spun, and winged it.
He did spin. He did like the spin-a-rooney. He must put everything he had onto that throw. But from a hitting perspective, since this is a hitting list, where does he fall? Is he top 10?
I think he finished with 3,300.
Because I wrote all the numbers down for the guys I did pick. I didn't pick Tris Speaker. Willie Mays is 13th.
Also, we're getting toward the end of the third quarter. Steelers 14-6.
Ooh. I mean, so Minnesota's hanging in there.
Oh, wait. Steelers might have just scored to make it 21-6. Yeah, it's now 21-6.
Upon further review. There we go.
All right, let me get my glasses.
There you go.
21-6.
My number 4. I'll tell you what. In terms of favorites, like now it's getting to be like now it's tough because they're just not my favorites. I'm going to pick this guy because of the story and the fact that he's just got 3,000 on the dot. I'll take Roberto Clemente as one of the heroes of Latin America in terms of baseball, and it's such a tragic, sad ending to his story. But to have 3,000 hits on the dot, I think is, you talk about baseball has magic numbers. I think the fact that his number is exactly 3,000 is really cool.
Yeah, I believe it was the 1971 season, 71 or maybe 72. That he finished out with exactly 3,000, and then December of that year, on a humanitarian mission to Puerto Rico, I believe, his home island. There'd been an earthquake, and fatal plane crash unfortunately took him. But he's on my list.
And he wore 21, so he's got that going for him.
Right. Also has a really nice bridge named after him.
And I've crossed over that bridge many times.
Yeah. And, again, when I was talking about Mays being a five-tool guy, I mean, Clemente might have been even better defensive player than Mays, if that's possible.
With his arm, yeah.
Yeah, just an absolute hose and right. For my 5, and again, Yaz is on my list, but I don't really have strong feelings towards Yastrzemski just because I'm a little before my time. I'm going to go with a guy who is very endearing just because he was so quirky. And you talk about a guy who bounced around a lot. Everywhere he went, he hit. And also a great defensive player, and that's Adrian Beltre.
Okay.
Don't touch his head. All those videos of him on base where people are trying, and he's like, "Get out of here." I believe when he was in Texas, Elvis Andrus did that to him when he was trying to catch an infield pop, and Andrus came over and he's like, "What are you doing?"
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's just so fun how people tried to mess with him.
That's awesome. Now, Adrian Beltre is one of those guys that. How many teams did he play for? Because
I mean, he was in Seattle. He was with Texas. Those are the teams that I
remember him mostly with Texas.
Yeah, that's who I most associate him with. Because he was on the Texas teams that went to the World Series, like the
only
Josh
4
Hamilton.
teams.
Oh, okay.
Texas, Seattle.
Yeah.
You get the other one in the American League.
Was he with San Diego?
They're not in the American League.
Oh, but I was just thinking overall.
They weren't. He wasn't in San Diego though either. Close, geographically.
Oh, the Angels?
No, not that close.
Who was he with?
Los Angeles. He was a Dodger.
Oh, that's right. He did
7 years too, and he spent the year in Boston.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Remember the good 2010 Boston Red Sox that finished 3rd that year. Adrian Beltre was another 21 years. You have to play quite a while to accumulate. Where did he finish? 18th.
And 500 home runs. Didn't he 500? Or is he
477? He's close.
Okay.
He was also caught stealing 42 times. If you're interested.
And a guy who was never really seriously in like the MVP conversation in any year. He was just a guy who was really good for a really long time.
Yeah, I can see that. And then for my 5, I'll break the rule here a little bit because this is supposed to be our favorites. I didn't like this guy, and it just because in 1993 he won the World Series MVP. It's like that year, him and John Olerud, Paul Molitor's the pick. Whenever they came up, it was like they're going to get a hit. You couldn't get them out. They were pests, but like I'll tell you what, if I was putting a team together, I think like Paul Molitor's the kind of guy that I would want on the team. When he signed with the Blue Jays, do you know what his contract was? When I was putting my list together, I saw this. He signed a 3-year, $13 million contract.
Wow.
Paul Molitor hit 350 or something in 93. Led the Blue Jays to a World Series. The other name that I had on my list, Stan Musial, just because he's a fraternity brother of mine. And I wrote down Hank Aaron because I wanted to mention the fact that Barry Bonds has 2,935 hits. And I wanted to ask you, do you think it bugs him that of his 2,500 walks, that 688 were intentional? Because if you look at his all-time batting average, his all-time average is 298. If you took 29% of those 688 intentional walks, that gives him 3,140 hits.
Bonds doesn't seem like the kind of guy who'd get wrapped up in that.
I disagree. I think this is the kind of thing that would nod him not having 3,000 hits because he's like, I think he looks at himself as the greatest hitter of all time, and rightfully he's in the conversation. But all the walks just take away the magic number from him.
But he's in good company of guys who walked a lot who aren't in the 3,000 hit club because Ruth isn't and Ted Williams isn't. And Ted Williams also lost 5 years to 2 wars. Yeah,
that's probably worse than the intentional walks.
Right. I'll tell you, because Molitor was on my list. George Brett was on my list. Dave Winfield was a name I considered.
Okay.
But Molitor's a good one. One of my earliest baseball memories, I can still remember when he had his 39-game hitting streak in 87. Because every day I would run to get the paper to see if he got a hit.
Did he check the box score? Yeah.
Yeah.
See, today you'd be checking MLB.com.
Like, that's one of the longest hitting streaks. Him and Jimmy Rollins have the.
I remember Jimmy Rollins back in, it was 2004.
Yeah. And I remember
2005.
I remember Benito Santiago in 87. He won Rookie of the Year because he hit in 34 straight.
Wow. Cool. All right. So there's our draft for the week. We're going to stick with baseball for our top 5. we had to make sure the communication was online last week. When you asked for our all-time MVPs, like you wanted ranking for this year, and I'm like, well, Ohtani last year was really good, and Mattingly in '85 was a good year. So we're going to look at the pitching mound, our top 5 candidates for a Cy Young. I have both American and National League, but like my one American, one National are kind of separate. So you took the number 1 pick in the draft, so I'm going to take the easy slam dunk. If Paul Skeens doesn't win the Cy Young in the National League, something's wrong. His last game, he threw 6 scoreless innings, basically a playoff game for the Reds, and Skeens may have knocked them out because the Pirates won that game in extras. So what can you say about the regression of Paul Skeens? Last year, his ERA was 1.96. This year, it's 1.97. He's
at this rate, he's going to be at like a 2.2 when he's a KG veteran.
By the time he's in the league for 8 years, yeah. And he got his record. If you care about wins and losses, which you shouldn't, he got his record to 10-10. So he's a 500 pitcher, going to win the Cy Young for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I know I've made the comparison before, but this really feels a lot like Gooden in '85. When he was a 1.53, he had almost 300 strikeouts. Skeens, if he had the same amount of innings pitched that Gooden had in '85, would be approaching, because he struck out about 220 this year, but in far fewer innings.
216, tied for third.
Yeah, and how many innings did he throw? Did he even get to 200 innings?
Did not write that down, but we can figure that out quickly enough. It's this year 187 and 2/3.
Yeah, and if I remember right, Gooden threw like something like 270 innings in '85 when he
85.
When he won his Cy Young, he was roughly the same age.
276.
Yeah,
and 2/3.
Like Skeens is easily the most exciting pitcher in baseball. He's one of those guys where when you see that he's starting, you're going to tune in.
Yeah.
So obviously he's on my list as well. He really jumps out, even being in a small market that had just a dreadful season with Pittsburgh. And you just wonder if they can hold on to him, if they can build around him, or if they're going to have to, lose him.
You talk about Dallas fans hating Jerry Jones. Pittsburgh fans and their ownership have an even worse relationship because it's almost a foregone conclusion that, Paul Skeens is going to ask for $40 million a year, and he's going to deserve it.
Yeah. So, yeah, the other comparison you could make is to Steve Carlton in '72 when he won 27 games for a 60-win team or a 55.
Yeah, 34% of their games.
And
I assume we're going to have very similar names. So you got Skeens too. Who else is on your list? Give me the next highest on your list.
So I strongly believe that Tarek Skubal's going to repeat as the AL Cy Young.
He made my list too.
Yeah, I wrote of all the numbers, he has a .89 WHIP, which is just ridiculous.
The best in baseball.
Yeah, it's he's such a precision pitcher, and he's so consistent. And even as the Tigers were kind of falling apart,
wasn't his fault.
It was He
pitched well through it. I wrote down he may have had it sewn up before the Tigers skid. They didn't lose 8 of their last 10 because of him. I wonder if Cleveland wins the Central, if that takes some shine off of it. I don't think it does.
I don't either.
There might be a weird voter out there that says, well, Detroit didn't win, so I'm not voting for him.
In fact, I think if anything, it underscores how valuable he was, that as the team was falling apart, he still managed to be, outstanding. Yeah.
Yes, I don't think it's as much of a slam dunk as Skeens, but I would give him 75%.
Yeah. I really strongly think he's going to repeat. I think
so do I.
I think Skeens is automatic though in the NL. I mean, he could be a unanimous Cy Young guy.
Oh, Skeens?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with Wheeler hurt, I mean, the other national, I tried to put another National League guy. I'll mention my other guy. I put Freddie Peralta down. I mean, the Brewers are the best record in baseball. He's the best pitcher in Milwaukee. He's got over 200 strikeouts, an ERA of 2.6. Is he going to win the Cy Young? No. Would I give him a second or third place vote? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only competition for Skeens is that the Sanchez kid in Philadelphia.
Okay.
What's it, Christopher Sanchez?
I didn't write Sanchez down, so I don't know.
You know, the fact that we're even trying to think who could be competing with Skeens for the award just shows you
absolute foolishness.
Yeah, Skeens is going to run away with it.
Well, I had Peralta. Give me another name on your list.
So, and we mentioned it before, but Crochet is definitely in the. He's a guy who, if you talk about someone stealing votes from Scooble, he's going to siphon off some votes because he kept Boston afloat through some tough stretches.
Leads the majors in strikeouts, 255, top 6 in ERA. If you care about wins, he's got 18 of those too. He made my list as my number 3 guy in the American League, but he's my number 1 player on the I don't want to see him in the playoffs against me list.
Yeah, if Boston has a run in them, it's going to be because of Garrett Crochet.
And he's the kind of guy that can pitch 3 times in a 5-game series on short rest. He's your number 1. He's your game 1 starter easily.
Right. And because they're so inconsistent behind him that they're really going to just have to almost like if they have a run, he's going to have to be like their Bumgarner.
I was going to say CC Sabathia from Milwaukee.
Yeah. Well, back in 08 or 07.
You're going to see him 3 times in a 4-game series.
Yeah. Or the one I always think about was when the Mets went up against the Astros in '86 and Mike Scott. It was like trying to hit a wiffle ball. They just couldn't do anything with him, and they had to win Game 6 of that series because they did not want to face Mike Scott in a Game 7. That's what Garrett Crochet is for this year's Red Sox.
Yeah, and I'll go with my homer pick then. It kind of wraps out my top 5. My number 2 guy in the American League is Max Fried, who's essentially kept the Yankees afloat with Garrett Cole on the shelf. Most wins in the league, top 10 in ERA. The thing is, if you're big on strikeouts, he's not a strikeout pitcher. But I'm a homer, so I put him as number 2 in the American League, especially if New York wins the American League East today,
and especially with how spotty the run support was at times this season. His lineup didn't do him favors. So in June and July,
he had a stretch in the middle of the summer there where he couldn't catch anything.
Yeah,
but he had 1 or 2. I think every pitcher has 1 or 2. He had 1 or 2 rough starts where he gave up a couple of runs and didn't see the 5th. But for the most part, he has been a stalwart ace for a New York team that really needed it, and he earned the free agent salary.
And I think it really shows just how bright the spotlight is in New York that all season it feels like we talked about, the run support, like inconsistency on the bases. Here they're, a 93, 94 win team that's going to possibly win the division.
Who else do you have on your list? Anybody different?
Let's see. I said Skeens, Scooble, Crochet. Fried was on my list. I mentioned the Sanchez. One guy who was on my list was Hunter Brown from Houston, who, in the American League, there's so many guys who had strong seasons as opposed to the National League that he's kind of like almost like an also-ran. But he had a really strong season for the Astros. Won 12 or 13 games, sub 2.5 ERA. But, the big 3 in the AL, it's going to be Scooble, Crochet, and Max Fried.
Yeah. And Paul Skeens will run away with the spoon, and
we'll see. They already.
They announced the MVP and Cy Young well after the World Series, so we'll have forgotten who we picked in the American League. But I think if Skeens is not unanimous, we could have a serious problem. It'd be like that one guy who didn't vote for Jeter, the Hall of Fame, back in 2020, and then 2020 happened. Anybody who doesn't vote for Paul Skeens, something bad is going to happen.
It'll be like when Shaq should have been the unanimous MVP, but some joker voted for Iverson, and Shaq still holds a grudge to this day against that voter.
Okay, he knows who did it.
Yeah, I believe it was someone from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and Shaq never fails to mention the guy by name and be like, "I should have been the first unanimous MVP, not Steph Curry."
I love it. All right, so Mr. Smarty Pants time. I thoroughly meant to make a Mr. Not So Smarty Pants logo. I didn't. So you said you've got some stuff for me. I've got some stuff for you.
Yes.
Why don't you go first, and I'll set the bar very low for you.
So would you like a list, or I do also have a trivia question?
Well, let's do the trivia question first, because that's usually what I do.
Okay. Who was the last Heisman Trophy winner not drafted in the first round of the NFL draft?
Oh, boy.
I think you'll be surprised who it was.
So my son is playing the piano upstairs. I can hear him. She'll be coming around the mountain where it comes.
Some good thinking music.
Ty Detmer?
No, more recent than that.
Okay.
Detmer's a good guess, though.
I have to think of my limited knowledge of Heisman Trophy winners. Desmond Howard?
No, Washington picked him.
Was he a first? Okay.
He was a first rounder.
How about? My goodness, was Sam Bradford drafted in the first round?
I believe he might have gone one overall.
Okay. Yeah, I got nothing. Lay it on me.
Would you believe it was Derrick Henry?
I thought I had Derrick Henry. I figured there's no chance Derrick Henry wasn't a first round pick. I figured it'd be like the 23rd overall pick by the Ravens.
He was the 45th overall pick by Tennessee.
He was a Titan. Yeah, I think the fact that he's on Baltimore threw me. Yeah, he was a Titan. Okay. I'm 0 for 1.
All right. So I have two lists for you. And I told you Friday night, neither is sports related.
So I have no idea where these are going.
Okay. So the first one occurred to me on Friday night as I was watching UVA shock Florida State.
Yeah.
And storm the field.
Oh God! Did you see that? The one Florida State guy, he just must have gotten steamrolled.
Yeah, he got trucked by about 20 students.
Yeah.
So Virginia, among other things, is known for being the birthplace of 8 of our U.S. presidents. Can you name the U.S. presidents who came through, who were born in the Commonwealth of Virginia?
Washington.
Yes.
Jefferson.
Yes. Jefferson inspired the question because he was the founder of the University of Virginia.
Okay. Those are the gimmies that I know. And now, my sheer lack of presidential knowledge will kill me. One who's
already been mentioned on this episode.
Monroe.
James Monroe of the Monroe Doctrine.
Believe it or not, I was going to guess Monroe simply because of that. And you said he was 5th, so
he was 5th. Another one has a university that was named after him, first and last name.
James Madison.
James Madison.
Okay.
Our fourth president. So that's 4 of our first 5 presidents from Virginia.
And I got 4 of the 8, so I'm at 500.
The next one was the president who had the shortest term in office.
Was that Coolidge?
Nope, not Cool Cal.
For some reason, I thought he was the shortest was like a week or something, wasn't it?
It was 30 days. He caught pneumonia at his inauguration because he refused to wear a coat.
Who's that?
William Henry Harrison.
Harrison. Okay. He refused to wear a coat.
The next two are very similarly named mid-18th century presidents who I doubt you will get.
If it's not, if it's not Millard Fillmore, I got nothing.
It's not Millard Fillmore. No, it's John Tyler and Zachary Taylor.
Yeah, Tyler. Yeah, forget about it. Now, Big Jake, who might be watching this later, Jake Stakes, he would have gotten all 8 of those, I'm sure.
I have no doubt. The last one was our president during World War I.
Oh my heavens!
He was.
Why do I think it's FDR, but it's not FDR?
No, he was World War II. This president was, I believe, an economics professor at Princeton, pre-presidency.
That does not help.
It's Woodrow Wilson.
And now I can see the picture of the newspaper article. Okay. It's not that our educational system has failed me. It's that my brain has evolved and.
Oh yeah, we're old and our brains are oatmeal. Yeah. Would you like another list?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I got 4 out of 8. I don't feel too bad.
Okay. This week in 1985, the sitcom Growing Pains premiered on ABC.
Nice.
Would you care to guess what shows were in the top 20 in the Nielsen ratings for the 1985-86 television season?
The Cosby Show.
That was number 1.
Cheers.
That was number 5.
MASH.
MASH ended before this.
Was it before that? Okay.
Yeah.
So I had to think. I'm 7 years old. That's a Cosby Show. I said Cheers. Growing Pains. Was that before Who's the Boss?
Who's the Boss was number 10.
Did the Golden Girls hit by then?
Golden Girls was tied for 7th.
When did Alf start? Was
Alf was like 86 or 87. So
Alf isn't a thing yet.
Yeah.
How about are there any soap operas on the list?
There are 2 primetime soap operas.
Oh, so not like General Hospital.
No, these are all primetime shows.
Primetime. Okay. Dallas?
Dallas was 6th.
Was that a thing?
Yes.
How many did I get so far?
You got 5. 5 of 20, so not bad.
Dude, that's 250. I'm hitting above major league average.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think I always put Growing Pains and Who's the Boss together because I think they were back to back on ABC.
Growing Pains was 17th. So you now have 6.
And I think Just the 10 of Us would have been spun off later, so I don't think that's one of them.
Yeah, that's not on here. That was spun off from Growing Pains. Coach Lubbock.
And among the celebrity crushes I had, Jamie Luner was.
Oh yeah.
About it. Let's see. Oh my gosh, because. And none of these shows were on CBS. CBS was just, they struggled back then.
Well, 2 of the top 4 were on CBS.
Were they?
One was a non-scripted program. Like not fictional. Like obviously, not reality TV, but it
not like a current affair or
it was the soundtrack to realizing that you had school the next day.
60 Minutes.
60 Minutes.
Oh wow.
It was number 4.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was a ratings monster for years.
Yeah. All right. What else you got?
All right. Number 2 was Family Ties.
Oh my gosh, dude.
The other CBS show.
Michael P. Keaton, Alex was. Michael J. Fox was on every one of those teeny bop magazines that the girls
like
would
him and
get,
Kirk Cameron. Yeah,
Tiger Beat. Yeah, who was sexier this week? Come on,
which is really kind of creepy because they were playing teen, like high school
absolutely.
boys. The other CBS show was Murder, She Wrote.
Oh, my mother loved that show.
Number 7, tied with Golden Girls, was Dynasty. That was the other primetime soap opera.
I have no business knowing anything about Dynasty.
I thought you might get on Friday nights on NBC was Miami Vice.
I didn't watch Miami Vice. I knew I knew the look, the Don Johnson, the weird Jack. Yeah, but I never watched it.
Pastels, no socks.
Awesome theme song though.
Another part of the monster lineup on NBC on Thursdays, Night Court.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
This would have been a tough one. The CBS Sunday Movie was number 12.
What?
It was just like a regular, like their movie every Sunday night.
That's.
And then I'll just rattle off the last few. Highway to Heaven, Kate and Allie. I thought you might get Monday Night Football.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Newhart. Knots Landing was a primetime soap opera, tied with Growing Pains at 17. A show that has been lost to my memory, You Again, no idea. And Saturday night aired with Golden Girls, 227.
227. You know what?
I remember it used to be Golden Girls, 227, Amen. You remember that show? With Trey Hensley?
I wasn't thinking Amen. I did have 227 in my mind though. I'm like that. I thought that was later.
With Jack K. Yeah.
Jack K. All right. Let's put the graphic up now because here comes Mr. Smarty Pants to show us how it's done. I have 2 lists for you. I don't have any questions.
Okay.
So they're both sports related. The first one is less sports related. According to BetMGM, that they have listed the price of a beer at every NFL stadium. I wanted to know if you could list the top 5 most expensive beers in terms of NFL stadium.
Okay. Boy. Let's really pile on Jerry Jones. He's got to pay for that terrible stadium somehow. How about Dallas?
Dallas is nowhere near the top 10.
Wow. How about MetLife, the Giants/Jets?
So I'll give you both. The Giants and the Jets they're kind of tied. So they're both $13 a beer. They are on the list.
How about Vegas?
Vegas is number 2 at a cost of $14.99.
How about
imagine $14.99?
I know you could buy like a whole case of PBR for that.
You could have bought a 30-pack of PBR and still had a 5 left over.
How about the Rams?
What's that?
How about the Rams?
The Rams are on the list. $14.
Okay, so I got the Rams, I got Vegas, I got the Giants and Jets. How about Miami?
Miami's close. They're just out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're in the top 10.
Okay.
But
the Vikings may have just scored.
We could celebrate with one of the cheapest beers in the NFL.
Atlanta always has very cheap concessions. I know Arthur Blank has made it a point of pride to have really cheap concessions for the Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're 8th cheapest.
Okay, I know they have $2 hot dogs or something like that.
Ooh.
So all right, am I now picking cheapest or most?
Oh no, you still have to get the most expensive, and there's 3 more in there as well.
Okay, most expensive. How about the 49ers?
The 49ers come in at number 4 with a $14 beer.
Okay.
But they're tied for 4th.
Okay.
It's there's 8 teams in the top 5.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of places with high cost of living.
Well, you're geographically in the right thought there. You need one more.
Chargers.
That's it. You got the Rams already. The Chargers are the Chargers, Niners, and Rams all $14.
Wow.
Now you're off the West Coast.
Okay. How about New Orleans?
In New Orleans, actually, really, I would have probably guessed New Orleans. They are just out of the top 10. They're at 11.75.
Okay.
I'm actually very surprised at number one.
How about the Patriots?
The Patriots are actually down near the Falcons.
Wow.
858.
Good for them. Steelers?
Steelers right in the middle, 9.99.
Who's number one?
The Washington Commanders at a cost of $16.49.
Outrageous.
That's almost my mortgage.
And they wouldn't pay Terry McLaurin. Come on.
And then Tampa Bay comes in at number 3, 14.25.
Oh, because when I was in Florida and I said Miami, I was thinking Tampa. I should have said Tampa.
There you go. So do you have any idea who the cheapest? You don't give me the top 5, but the cheapest beer.
Yeah, let's see. How about the Lions?
They're third cheapest, $7.20.
How about Green Bay?
No, Green Bay, that's $10.50. They're in the middle.
Like the whole state of Wisconsin has a drinking problem. How about the Panthers?
They are in the middle, $10.50.
I'm just trying to think of like bad teams now where like it helps to be drunk to watch.
Think about bad states you wouldn't want to be in.
Okay, let's see here.
Especially as a Michigan fan.
Oh, the Browns or Bengals?
Browns are number 2.
Are the Bengals?
Bengals number 1. Bengals, you can get a beer for $6.80. That's cheaper than Applebee's.
How are you going to enjoy the 17-0 season when you're drinking like that?
I don't know.
When you're slamming 40s.
There it is. The other list I have was based on the trivia last week. Do you remember the one trivia thing I said I knew the answer was wrong, so I didn't ask you? So the list has 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe I wrote it down. Oh, 6. Okay. 19 rookie quarterbacks have started in the playoffs in the Super Bowl era. Only 6 NFL rookies have ever won their first playoff game as of 2025. Can you name them?
Okay, so it's 6 rookies who won their first playoff game? That was the question?
Yes. Now, there's 9 on the list because it says they're also rookie quarterbacks who have won at least one playoff game in their first season. I guess I have a list of 9 here that have won their first playoff game because they would have had to.
Okay, Jaden Daniels
is on the list.
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud is on the list.
Okay. Rookie quarterbacks to win. How about someone like Mark Sanchez?
Mark Sanchez, 2009, on the list.
In the Super Bowl era. So wait, now I need 3 more or 6 more?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Because it's weird the way they have this written.
Right. How about Joe Montana?
Joe Montana is not on the list.
How Jim McMahon?
Jim McMahon's not on the list. These are, I'll tell you, the oldest was from 1999.
99.
And he was with the Bucks.
99 with the Bucks.
I wouldn't know this. But
It's not Brad Johnson, is it?
No. I am 95% sure I knew where this guy went to college, and I'm right. Haha. He went to Tulane.
Oh my God. I can't think of his name, but I know who it is. Oh my God.
After graduating from Gibbs High School in 1995,
Does not help.
he played college football at Tulane, leading them to an undefeated season and a win over Brigham Young in the Liberty Bowl.
Oh, who was it? I can't pull the name.
Sean King.
I was gonna say like the first name was Sean too. I couldn't pull it though.
Okay.
Right,
the next guy is 2004.
Okay.
And I mean, if I he's in the AFC.
04 in the AFC. How about Carson Palmer?
It's not Palmer, right division.
Roethlisberger.
Ben Roethlisberger. I think the next guy's still playing, actually. He did it in 2008.
2008.
Yeah, of course he's still playing. He's playing in the same division that he would have won this playoff game in, but he's playing for a different team. And it's the same division as the previous quarterback.
Stafford?
Nope. Still AFC North.
Oh, AFC North. Flacco?
Joe Flacco. There you go. Who's this next guy? Oh, my gosh. How can I even give you a clue about this character? In 2009, he won his first playoff game and later a second playoff game with the New York Jets.
Tebow?
No, not Tebow. He is currently the wide receivers coach and passing game coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons.
In 2009.
Went to North Carolina. A fifth-round draft pick.
North Carolina. I don't know it.
T.J. Yates.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
I wouldn't get into him either. Don't worry about it. Stroud, you got. The next guy just got benched.
Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson in 2012. And then Mr. Irrelevant did it.
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy in 2022. The answer that the TikTok lady gave was Russell Wilson. And then somebody corrected her in the comments saying, dude, Brock Purdy did it in 2022 and Jaden Daniels just did it. Oh, the question was worded, since Jaden Daniels did it last year, who was the last rookie before him to do it? And their answer was Russell Wilson, but they said, well, Brock Purdy did it. And I went in and I researched. I'm like, yeah, he did. So the TikTok lady, trivia lady, was wrong. That's why you did not get the question last week. There were actually two other players who were technically rookies who won their first playoff game, but they spent time playing in other football leagues. Dieter Brock was 34 years old when he won his first playoff game with the NFL, but he spent 10 years in the CFL before that. And Pat Hayden also won his first NFL playoff game as a rookie in '76, but he had spent a year playing in the World Football League before that, so they didn't count those players in the list that I saw.
That's a good trivia question. T.J. Yates, good for him.
I wasn't going to get T.J. Yates, but all right. I mean, you did phenomenally better than I did. We are at the time. We're going to do NBA again because we did NBA last time. We didn't talk about basketball, so let me figure out how to share my screen. I saw that when I share, this really becomes a new kind of window. So I'm going to take the little graphic off so everybody can try to see a little bit better. If hit this, all right. So we have our wheel,
Also,
and we're going to go point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center, and sixth man again because that was cool.
and it's 24-14 Steelers with 4 minutes left, and Pittsburgh is threatening.
Oh well, it's going to be the Tim Hare lock of the week here. We'll let you draft first, and your first spin lands on. Come on, keep going, keep going. Well, either way is going to be great. Cleveland, get the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, give me LeBron.
LeBron. All right, and my first pick. I get Milwaukee. I think I will take Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at my center.
Strong pick.
Although, well, I already spun the wheel, so we'll lock in Kareem. Minnesota Timberwolves.
I'll take Garnett.
Spinny. Oh my. The Charlotte Hornets. Did Chris Paul spend time with Charlotte?
Yeah.
Well, I thought he did, so we'll take Chris Paul at my 1. So I got my big guy and my little guy. You got 2 guys in the front court. And now you have Toronto.
I'll take Hakeem.
Come on, learn how to spell. Oh, no, and I put him at your 6th man. Well, he's your center.
Okay.
For right now. Ooh, and I've got Toronto, and I can't think of his name. The Claw, the power forward that is going to get paid by aspiration. Leonard, Kawhi Leonard. Oh my God,
the pride of San Diego State.
Kawhi Leonard. We'll see if he plays the 3 or the 4. So right now you have a backcourt opening and a 6th man.
Okay.
And it looks like you're going to get the Utah Jazz.
I'll take Stockton.
I had him written in. It's a fair pick. So I have a shooting guard, power forward, and a 6th man open. Oh boy, the Clippers. I'll put Paul George at my 6.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to start him. And if I start, I can just put him off the back and change my lineup around.
And I have an opening for a 6th man and a shooting guard.
And a shooting guard, yeah. And it's going to be the Knicks.
I'll take. I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to take Carmelo Anthony.
That doesn't surprise me at all. That's who I would have picked.
I was between like Walt Frazier, Ewing, but I'll take Melo.
I mean, you could swap LeBron and Melo very easily.
You could put Melo at the 2 and still have a 6th man too.
Yeah. Well, you have a 6th man coming. I have a shooting guard and a power forward. And I took him last week, so I'll probably take Reggie Miller again this week. We got Reggie. So you need pretty much the best player available. Your 6th man coming off the bench from the Philadelphia 76ers.
I'll take the stilt.
Oh, my gosh. That's a heck of a – oh, my gosh. That front court is very good. I don't know if I'd even power forward from Houston. I'll take Charles Barkley. All right, so that's our draft. You want to see what ChatGPT says about it?
Yeah, let's hear how surprisingly well Kawhi does.
Okay.
Kawhi Leonard scores 38, has 12 blocks, and sleeps with LeBron's wife. I didn't even know that was an option, ChatGPT. Take it easy on a fella.
How about a 7-game series between these two teams? Team one.
Oh, Minnesota. Just hit like a 90-yard touchdown. Oh, he got caught at the 1. Minnesota just made it interesting, though. 24-14. But that could have been like a 95-yard touchdown if he hadn't been tripped up by his shoelace. Just what? He's 20 yards behind the defense. I don't know what Pittsburgh was doing. They went full Eberflus.
Oh, you never go full Eberflus.
No.
I don't think I neutral site games. I shouldn't win 2 games. This one is fascinating because Team 1 has size and playmaking, while Team 2 has balance, shooting, and athletic wings.
Team 1 has size and shooting, while Team 2 has Kawhi Leonard.
That's Kawhi Leonard. A 7-game neutral site series will be tight. Let's run it game by game. Of course, I win game 1. Kareem gets 32. Control of the skyhook's automatic. Doesn't say anything about Kawhi. You win game 2. You win game 3. I win game 4 in overtime because Kawhi and Paul George double Melo, forcing LeBron into tough shots. It hates LeBron still. LeBron's fadeaway at the buzzer rims out. I win by 2. Game 5, you win by 13. Game 6, I win. Game 7, neutral site. Team 1 wins 109-106. I don't see it that way. I think your team wins in 5.
It seems like it always goes 7.
Yeah, it's just trying to make you feel good.
Yeah.
Yes. Would you like me to create a stat leader table across the series?
And who was the MVP? Did it pick
LeBron?
an MVP? Oh wow.
Clutch game 7. Yeah, 27 points per game for LeBron, 9.6 boards, 9.2 assists. Olajuwon went for 23 and 11. Garnett 16 and 10. On my squad, Kareem went 29 and 12. Kawhi Leonard went for 22 a game, 7 boards.
Minnesota just made it 24-20 with the extra point pending.
Oh, wow.
2 minutes left.
Interesting.
Dublin's getting a fun game here. A nice little an aperitif to the day of football.
Let me see. I'm going to substitute one of my players. I got to see if this helps me win. That's a fun twist. Let's think that through. Adjusted rosters. I win in 7. So here's the deal. I just won the series according to ChatGPT in 7 games. Who do you think I substituted, and who do you think I put in for him? I will tell you, I did not put in a real player.
Did you sub out Reggie Miller?
No, I kept Reggie Miller.
I'm curious who you added in.
I substituted Chris Paul.
Okay.
I took a new point guard. I took the Jedi Master Yoda.
I thought maybe you took like Michael J. Fox from Teen Wolf or something like that.
Yoda didn't light up the scoreboard, but his defensive disruption and clutch plays shifted the series. So there you go. Because I remember Kawhi Leonard took a group of Jedi Masters to
Sure, it was
like the Monstars
Kawhi,
were the greatest
Kylo
players
Ren.
of all time. Like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Shaq had nothing for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, ChatGPT. I really want, and look, Kawhi Leonard's a Hall of Famer, great player, whatever. But I want to know what in the algorithm makes him unstoppable.
It's stuck in like 2017 or something. Or
yeah.
Good times. When do the Eagles kick off?
1 o'clock down in Tampa.
Their early game. I know the Bears are playing the I don't know if they'll be on TV here or not. Like, I threw the remote. I don't even think I told you. The NFL Network didn't have the game here, and I don't know if we're blacked out because it's Pittsburgh. Maybe it's on CBS here.
No, I don't think CBS has the rights to it. I think it's purely NFL Network.
Then it might be blacked out because of where I am, which is stupid.
It is.
The whole blackout concept we've talked about a lot is.
I don't like when TBS has the national game, and if it's Phillies, Yankees, or Mets, I get blacked out. I don't get access to it.
Oh, that might be what's going on here, because I told you I had like just commercial after commercial. Maybe they're getting it out of their way for Red Zone.
Maybe. I would think the blackout rules for you would be like Baltimore and Washington. I'm
in a weird market. I get Philadelphia home games, I get Pittsburgh home games, I get Baltimore, I get Washington. It's a hub here, really, that just goes all which ways.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I did a good week, a good show. One more time.
Play us out there.
Homecoming this Friday. Chambersburg host Carlisle. And I hope that we get to hear a lot of this because it's the highlight for me. They're playing Aussie, not like Aussie in a high school football game. So there we go.
Marching bands are always welcome on Soup and Meatballs.
There we go. Have a good week over there. I think it's probably p.o'clock over in your part of the world.
Sure
I'm going to go eat some meatballs for lunch before the games kick off. So those of you out in the internet world, we'll see you when we see you.